What do you think men find more attractive? A woman that's introverted or extroverted? And I'm going to go around the panel on this one. Do you think men are more attracted to introverted or extroverted women?
I think it just depends on the person. I don't think it's men and women. It's just, for me, even a relationship is more of an equal partnership. So for me, I am quite opinionated. I'm opinionated and I can be quite assertive. And my boyfriend likes that about me.
Is that what he tells you?
That's what he tells me. That's why
well, that wasn't the question. The question was, who do you think needs to be more introverted? Excuse me. Do you think men find introverted or extroverted women is more attractive?
The concept of a man that you have, probably than an introverted woman, I assume. Okay. If it's the traditional relationship, but I don't think that really works.
You don't think the traditional relationship works?
No, I really do not think it's necessary.
Okay. What makes you think it's not necessary?
Because a relationship is an equal partnership. If I am the one that's assertive, if I can provide, if I earn the money, then it doesn't really matter what my boyfriend does.
Okay. Do you think most women have that mindset?
I know a lot of women that do. And I think it's
But do you think a majority of women have that mindset where they're okay being a breadwinner and taking care of their man?
I think it's unfair to disregard the women that do think that way or that are that way. And it's just unnecessary to put ourselves or like women in a box where they have to be quiet and timid and I don't know.
I didn't say I'm forcing them to be in that box or anything. I'm just simply asking you.
No, but you are putting them in that box.
No, I'm asking you a simple question. What do you think men find more attractive, introverted or extroverted women? That's all I asked.
Generally.
And then you went ahead and talked about yourself. I'm asking in general, and then if you want, answer the question generally, then you can speak about yourself more specifically.
Yeah, well, if I mean you and your audience, probably a woman that's more timid and quiet and proper and, yeah, an introverted person.
Okay, and then you said, what did you say after that? You said that you think that it shouldn't be that way. You said it's unfair.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's unfair. If it works for people, sure, but it isn't the case for me, and I believe that there are a lot of people.
Because you said in a traditional relationship, that's how it is. Do you think? Wouldn't it be fair to say though that most women want a traditional relationship?
No, it's not fair to say that actually.
Why not?
Because I know a lot of women that don't, that are just like I am, that are outgoing.
Where are these women from?
To do stuff. From Europe.
From friends. Holland, right?
Yeah, from all over the world. I've traveled a lot, but
okay.
And most of the people, at least I get along with, are, yeah, they do stuff themselves.
So you're basing it off of a sample size of people that you know, that you're friends with, that are from your part of the world, which Holland is an egalitarian, fairly liberal country, progressive.
I've traveled a lot.
Huh? And
I've traveled a lot around Europe. It's just, yeah.
Do you think Tunisia observes these values?
I know my boyfriend does.
Is that what he tells you?
Nope.
Yes, it is.
I think that's what he tells you to get what he wants, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's not a lot he can get from me.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. But I'm asking you, do you think a majority of women, if I lined up, let's say even in the United States, let's take a first world country like the United States, do you think a majority of women believe in this egalitarian system that you think that men and women should be under?
No.
Or do most women want a traditional relationship where they have a masculine man who's a leader? Which one?
I believe that they are almost forced to think that way or feel that way, that they should be more quiet and timid, because it's a lot of judgment from more conservative people, or that do want the traditional relationship, that feel the need to force them or put them in a box so that they would feel uncomfortable or not happy with themselves if they're not quiet and if they're not timid, if they're not proper and conservative.
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah.
I think if it's anything, it's you make fun of women that want to be moms, that want to stay at home, that want to raise a family. If she's not chasing a career, if she's not going to college, if she's not like believing in feminist ideals, they make fun of her.
No, but it's not really like that. I think that whatever works for a person, it works for them. It doesn't really matter. Whether you're a person that likes dealing with kids, that really enjoys cooking, being at home.
I would argue a majority of women want to be at home. They prefer to not enter the workforce. Most women enter the workforce because they have to, because maybe their man doesn't make enough money, inflation, etc. But if they could stay at home and maybe work from home, they'd prefer that overwhelmingly from going into a job every day or not having to work at all.
Sure. But I can't agree with that, because a lot of women that I know, and I know how I am.
But you do understand that what you know is a limited perspective of overall female thought process all over the United States and
the
all
same
first world
goes to
countries.
you. I believe that you surround yourself with people that think the way that you do.
I'm speaking for a majority of women when I say that most women, if given the opportunity, would prefer to stay at home with their family over going into the workforce.
I'm actually curious.
If they do enter the workforce, they're going to do it in a limited capacity where they might work part-time, they might do a job from home, they'll work from a laptop, but they would prefer to stay at home is my point. I'm not saying women don't want to work. I'm saying they want to work in a limited capacity where the man is the breadwinner. Do you want to be the breadwinner in your relationship, realistically speaking?
I don't mind.
So you don't mind,
but do you want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, real quick, I'm curious. Do you want to be a breadwinner?
No, I don't.
Do you want to be a breadwinner?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to be?
No.
Do you want to be?
God, no.
So 3-2. So it seems like the majority wins, and they don't want to be. But ultimately,
but you don't have to say that it's the majority, because there's also the minority that really exists, and you're disregarding that.
Yeah, of course.
It exists.
But we preface all the questions with in general. Like, that's how we preface most of the questions in general. Do you think most women want a traditional relationship? And you're saying, well, that's unfair. It shouldn't be that way. But that's not the question. The question is, do you think most women in general want a traditional relationship? I would argue, yes. Most women want a leader. Most women want a guy that's masculine. Most women want a guy that's dominant. Most girls want a guy that's competent, that can lead them, that makes more money than them, etc. So it's like, I mean, it's just biology. It's not really, and that's kind of the problem with an egalitarian belief system that you kind of observe. It doesn't align with biology. Like, women say that they want to be equal to a man, but when it comes to equality for real, they don't want to deal with equal consequences and equal responsibility. You guys want the benefits of equality while not necessarily dealing with the negatives of equality.
I do not see the negatives in equality.
You don't see negatives in equality?
No.
I mean, if you look at jobs that create infrastructure, you look at construction, you look at STEM, you look at engineering, you look at electricians, plumbers, etc. All these physically labor-intensive jobs, women don't enter these jobs.
No, there are a lot of women in the engineering, in mining even, everywhere.
A very small minority. Men control 90% plus of these industries.
That's because of the age-long patriarchy that's been going on. It's just still wearing off of them.
Bruh. You think we live in a patriarchy?
Not anymore, okay? But we've been there for a while.
I have a question for
I would argue, if anything, we live in more of a... Well, here's the thing. Men are in leadership roles, but it's to a limited degree, right? Because if you look at... Because when women try to sit here and say that, oh, yeah, men have all the advantages, etc., they control the wealth. Well, yeah, that's true. But men also die at a higher rate. They're more likely to die from violence. They're most of the homeless people. They're most of the poverty. Like, even though there's men on one spectrum that are excellent, that are superior, there's a lot of men that are absolutely inferior. So we're on both ends of the spectrum, whether good or bad. But I've noticed that, feminist arguments tend to always look at the guys that are doing really good in the top 1%, but they don't look at all the guys that are absolute failures at the bottom.
But that goes the same for women, though.
Not really. Women tend to be more in the middle with everything.
I think that's your perception.
That's the absolute truth. The bell curve. If you look at geniuses that are the most geniuses are men, but most low IQ people are also men.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a fact. This is not my opinion.
Huh.
So men tend to operate on the extremes of the spectrum. So for every guy that's absolutely excellent, there's a bunch of guys that are losers.
Yeah, but there is every level of testosterone produced in a human body. So every person is really an individual. So I don't feel the need to generalize that. And if you're asking me a question that's based on male or female role, then I feel like you're asking me a question and I should, give you an answer about.
Well, I framed the question in a general sense.
I'm sorry.
And then you went and immediately made it about yourself, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. If you want to make it more individual, but you should give the general answer. Then you can go ahead and say, well, that doesn't apply to me because X, Y, Z. But that does not negate the fact that what I said is an objective fact in general. Just because you might not align with it doesn't mean that it's still not true. And you might represent a minority, which a lot of the times that minority could be statistically insignificant. I would argue most women absolutely don't want to be a breadwinner. Most women absolutely don't want to be the predominant breadwinner. Most women don't want to go to work every single day and work a hard manual labor job. And we have the evidence to prove it. If you look at a majority of the laborious jobs, who runs it? Men. Women don't want to do these jobs, and that's fine. But we're different. And I think the problem that a lot of women that believe in egalitarianism like you guys is you guys don't understand. You guys don't accept biological realities. You guys think I can do everything that a man can do, and the reality is you can't. You simply can't.
What is there that I can't do?
Well, in general, women are physically inferior to men. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. You can't run as fast as a man. You can't throw as fast, as hard as a man. You don't have the physical capacity to, excuse me?
I don't have to do that in my everyday life.
Well, if you're going to work a physically manually labor job, you're going to need some ability to have physical strength, correct?
If you're working with men, you're going to have to keep up with the men. You're going to have to be on the same level as them.
Yes, but even the first question was based on leadership. And I feel like there are a lot of women that are creatives, that are really emotional and that can...
They're not saying that you can't do it. You possibly can, but in the long term, how long can you do it for? How long can you do it for before you like hit a wall?
And this is also another argument that a lot of liberals make, right? Just because someone is capable doesn't mean that it's optimal. It's two different things. So if I have 20,000 soldiers, one all female, one all male, who am I better off sending to fight?
To fight?
Yes.
Probably a man.
Okay. So the women are capable of going to war too, right? But it's optimal to send the men to have the best chance. Same exact situation that she's saying. Like, I can have female workers in a certain field or whatever. Yeah, for sure they can do it. I'm not saying women can't do it. But what I am saying is that in general, men are going to be better because we just have, this isn't my opinion. This is an absolute biological fact. We have higher, stronger, more lung capacity, more muscle density, thicker bones. Our faces are designed to withstand more impact. Like, it's just in every physical regard, men are physically superior to women. And if they weren't, why would we have a WNBA? Why would we have female soccer? Why would we have female standards? Why is it that when guys decide to switch their genders, they go into female side, they absolutely destroy them despite the fact that they're on drugs? Think about that. I mean, does that not prove what I'm trying to say? Even though the crazy left is trying to say, oh yeah, go ahead and let them compete in female sports. They're destroying them because we are not the same.
No, I understand your point, and I know that people have different physical capabilities, but your question was more so directed towards leadership and assertiveness, and I feel like that...
But all of that plays in. See what I mean? Like, I went another step further, but like, leadership stems from biological superiority from a physical standpoint.
How? How is that true? No, I can be physically very capable, but I can be just unable to talk to people, unable to lead them towards success, unable to motivate them. It doesn't... Zero correlation.
I agree. But here's the thing. A part of leadership is communication skills. It is competence.
Which is
it is the ability to be extroverted to a degree. It is being physically capable and dangerous. All of these things play into leadership.
The dangerous part isn't really necessary.
Really?
Yeah.
That's easy for you to say when you live in a safe first world country, but you absolutely need to be capable of danger. How are you going to think about it? The civilized world that we live in now, you do realize that it's civilized because there's dangerous people willing to enact violence to protect your safety.
I know.
If you get attacked, police officers showing up with weapons, correct? You're going to call 911 for more than likely men to show up with firearms to protect you from another individual who's perpetrating violence on you, correct?
Yes, but that's not necessarily the leader.
If the country's invaded by foreign invaders who have weapons, we have a military that is going to enact violence to protect your ability to be safe, correct?
But not the president. You know, the president, the one that's actually leading.
He's the commander-in-chief.
Yes. So that can be also a woman. So I don't... Women can lead such as well as men.
In the past, actually, the president would be on the field as the commander-in-chief. But
George Washington was running around with them.
Yes, and Theodore Roosevelt, he as well he was very known for being a man of war. But the reason that they're not anymore is because now they're in a place of risk. They need to be able to lead the country so they can't just die because there's not somebody that could easily take their place. So that's why there's things in place now to make sure that they're protected. That's why there's a Secret Service. They can't die. They're at a high risk. People want to kill them because that way they can take over a country. So they got a lot of responsibility.
Yes, but the leader of a country can still such as well be a female. It doesn't really matter. So the leader in a relationship can also be both genders. It doesn't matter.
Goes back to my argument that I made before. Just because someone is capable doesn't mean it's optimal in general. So maybe 1 out of 10 women can be a capable leader. Cool. But if I line up 10 guys, a higher majority of them can potentially be a leader and more capable of doing so.
I mean, if you had kids at daycare, would you prefer a man or woman? Be honest.
If they're in daycare, they're probably taking care of professionals. I wouldn't.
No, but would you prefer a man or woman to take care of your kids?
A woman, maybe.
Why?
I don't know.
Probably.
Because maybe
No,
I'm also just
No, you know why.
Probably
Because they're more capable because they are more nurturing.
maybe, yeah.
maybe.
So we have biological strengths, men and women.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm also just
Whatever.
I also have
I'm not saying a female can't be president. What I'm saying is that most women are not fit to be president. Do you understand the difference?
I don't believe that most women are not fit to be president.
We would have had one by now then.
There are a bunch in Europe, actually.
And how are those countries doing?
Really
One of them is
good.
Estonia.
Yeah,
We just had
they're
a
doing
female
amazing.
president. Yeah.
Yeah,
And how's the economy over there?
good.
It's
yeah,
great.
quite good.
Yeah.
Okay, besides
Not
the
true.
country, how
They're-
is her personal life? Is she happy?
I mean,
Is she
I guess
happy?
so.
Like, how
She's doing
stressed
a
is
lot.
she?
Wasn't one of these women on camera
Yeah, dancing
in
in
a
a club.
dancing in a club?
Yeah.
One of these presidents?
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Presidents
It was a,
I don't know, that's
prime minister of, I
embarrassing.
think, Finland or one of these places. I mean, Western Europe had economic issues for a very long time. A lot of times for being super liberal. I don't think these countries are as strong as you guys say from an economic standpoint.
Estonia is in the Eastern Europe. We're doing really good.
Then why are y'all here?
Why you here?
Why you here?
We're just kidding. we know why you're here.
Yeah.
She belongs to the streets.
Sunshine.
Anyway, so what do you think is more attractive to men, an introverted woman or extroverted woman?
I think they find both attractive, but they'll probably take the introverted woman more seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think?
It's
Sunshine.
Anyway, so what do you think is more attractive to men, an introverted woman or extroverted woman?
I think they find both attractive, but they'll probably take the introverted woman more seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think?
it's dependent on the way that she displays her femininity.
Okay. Go ahead. You can
Yeah,
go
like
deeper if you want.
I'm very extroverted, but like I can say that if I'm around the guy that I like, sometimes I'm a little bit more meek because like oh, it's shy, like oh, cute, But like yeah, but I'll still let them see the extroverted side, but I get a little bit more timid, more meek, and like withdrawn. But I'm not hiding who I am. It's just natural.
Do you think that's okay? You said it's natural. Do you think that's a hardwired response when you're around a man that you're attracted to?
I feel as though yes, there's not somebody who I don't like you, and then I just like go like just show you like I'm crazy. I like.
Are you a
and I'm,
normally
like-
extroverted person?
Yes, I'm somebody who like I walk into a room and I'm recognized by a lot.
Okay.
People.
So you're a naturally extroverted person, yet when you meet someone who's attractive, you immediately kind of quiet your tone a bit and you chill out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that's a biological response because you understand that I'm around an attractive man and I need to show myself in an attractive light, and being more quiet and submissive is more attractive to that type of man?
I wouldn't say that I would automatically say that it's attractive. It might be a natural response because that, and like, when it goes back all the way to like prehistoric times and, just
That's what I'm
natural
trying to
stuff,
allude
yeah.
to.
Maybe that, yes, but not on purpose. No, not for attractivity.
That's my point.
Yes. Sorry. I made your point. Sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's just very interesting because we always revert back to our biology, right? Like, I don't think social norms or like, we try to sit here and say, oh, well, it should be this way and it could be this way. That's great, right? That's a very nice mindset, but I don't think that's the way that the world works, because as soon as something crazy happens, if there's a pandemic or there's real risk of danger, are you going to fight off a man? Can you fight off a man? Can any of you really fight off a man? No. You depend on other men to take care of the dangerous men that come and try to attack you. If someone breaks into your house, more than likely it's going to be a guy, let's be honest, right? I talk about the negative and the positive of males, right? Because men are more likely to commit crimes. But then you're going to call 911 and it's going to be more than likely men that show up. And if it's women that show up, you're probably not going to be as happy. Because you're like, oh man,
Shit.
you don't want two female police officers to show up when you're in a life or death situation. You want two toxically masculine guys with beards to show up that are, have some military experience. That's what you really want to show up when your life's on the line.
Facts.
Okay. What do we? Are we gonna
Go to Rumble?
All right. No.